Yeah, I just clicked knees a little bit, so obviously as a 22-year-old, I guess maybe a little bit hit on the knee hurts a little more than when I was 18 in college. So just a little bruise, but I mean I felt a lot good. Was running there at the end of practice, so it was a good competitive period. So it happens, but I feel fine. So Tresh, get out of here, dog.
Sorry, keep going.
No, I feel fine right now. It's just definitely, when you get a little bit like a stinger, it took probably 10 minutes to walk it off. So definitely nothing that adrenaline in a game wouldn't, help me keep rolling through, but I feel good. So.
What's the initial thoughts when that happens to you? What's going through your head? What are the
Really just asking what happened. I mean, I know I just felt like I don't know if it was his cleat or his knee, but I mean, really, I could just like it feels like a bruise right now. And obviously, when you get a bruise, especially on a bony part of your body, it gets irritated pretty quickly. But I mean, I feel like I'm in my 5th year. I played a lot of college football. That's nothing I have not had happen multiple times before. So I, pretty much just give me a second. Let me walk it off. And they wanted to put a little sleeve on it just in case it got irritated on the side there, but I think it was fine. I was joking with them running after they were making jokes about me being unathletic, and I was like, I'm good, still got it. So, but no, it was good. Like I said, played in a lot of games, so probably the first time I run the ball and get hit like that, so it's part of it.
Where would you say you've seen this offense grow from where you guys were at when you left spring to midway through camp right now?
Yeah, I think really just guys understanding the standard. I know you guys have heard Coach Grimes talk about it, and different people throughout the offensive side of the ball. Just guys understanding the standard of in camp every day we do a dog of the day. Sometimes it'll be one, sometimes it'll be two, and really just guys that exemplified our vision statement, our scheme statement, what we wanted to do. Live that every play, whether they were a receiver and they were running a go ball and getting a one-on-one chance downfield, or they had to push crack the safety. Just literally everyone doing their job to the echo of the whistle. You really have seen some guys kind of take on the identity of Coach Grimes and what he wants this offense to be. So that's been really cool. Seeing the growth from spring ball 15 or 16 to even probably like the first 3 practices of fall camp, you could really see some guys kind of mature from the end of spring to summer. And then, obviously we're in practice 15, 16, whatever it was. I think the strides every day we got, there's another 1 or 2 that are maybe not getting to the line, but kind of creeping around it. And then, we give them a little push in the back. And, every day we're getting more and more guys that are playing up to the standard. And the more guys we can do that play that way on a consistent basis, I think we'll be, you guys have seen it. We have the opportunity to be a really explosive offense.
Where do you see Danny?
Yeah, definitely just, his confidence, right? He's, I still have to remind myself he's a younger player. He's only in his 2nd year, but for a 2nd-year guy, he's played a lot of football. Obviously being a full-year starter, I think the biggest thing is just his, his poise and confidence, his maturity as a, 19, 20-year-old, whatever he is, how he goes about his business, the process, right? He's asking me things of, you've been around 4 or 5 years. Why is your process like this? Why do you do this on Monday? Why do you do this on, a Friday before a scrimmage? Really just kind of his maturity level. I think he's grown a lot. I think me and him both, obviously, we came in together. We are learning the offense together, and now we're kind of both, at a position where we feel confident with it. And now just any kind of little tips and pointers that I can give him and vice versa to really, get in a deeper level of the offense where we feel, we have full command of all the little checks, every little thing that, we can get ourselves in and out of. I think it's been exciting to see, him. Like I said, I got to remind myself he's a young player, and some of the strides and the progress he's made just since I've been here with him has been really cool to see. Oh yeah, Lance and Tuck and Jackson Ake. I mean, the list goes on. The tight end room has really, I think, taken some big strides this offseason. I think, obviously, when you bring in a guy like Lance, I think he's doing everything, probably and some of what we expected of him. He's just very, smooth, polished, poised route runner. He does some kind of things that, you can't really teach in a route runner in terms of having feel on some plays, knowing what angles to take and when not to take them. So it's been really good to see him kind of walk right in and really, it feels like not missing a beat, right? Obviously the tight ends, and, as an offense, we try to set the standard of, hey, this is how we're going to play. This is the details. This is how we're going to do tough, nasty discipline. And to see him jump right in, bring everything he can to the table, and then still, he's doing everything we're asking of him and more. It's been really cool to see. So, the progress he's made, obviously coming in June, May, I commend him. That's, a tough gig to do. I did it when I was a redshirt freshman. And then the growth that whole tight end for me, even Tyler Jansen from the defensive side, to see him, to see Jackson, kind of the role we've created for him at fullback and his it's been really good to see. And there's some young guys in that room that I think they'll be in good hands as long as Coach Lett keeps them.
What do you see from a guy like Kerry Sample stepping into James, and what's that? Is there much difference? What do you have to adjust to being at you say?
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole big of adjustment. I think it's just both of us getting on the same page, and I don't think that's anything different. I think a lot of it's just conversations. Like, hey, bro, this is when we're doing a shift, like this is what I'm gonna tell you, or hey, when we're in pistol, this is how I snap it when he's letting me know. Just conversations back and forth. Because I think the biggest thing that I've learned throughout my college career is like preparation breeds confidence. So if we can have these meetings when we're eating lunch or when we're in the film room, like we can go out here and feel much more confident. And I think the biggest thing for me is I want him to feel confident. I want him to know, when I'm going to be under center, what my cadence is like, all that stuff, making sure we're on the same page. So that was, I don't think it was too big of an adjustment. I think we've had enough snaps to where I feel comfortable with a lot of guys, in that room. But that's definitely just, as we've gotten maybe into some more and more situational football, we've had more conversations of, hey, when I say this is what I'm, these are what I'm meaning with these terms. This is what, vice versa. I got to ask him, what are you saying? So I know we're on the same page. So it hasn't been too big of an adjustment. It's been fun to see him, each other, both of us get more confident with each other. And then I think when we're playing confident, like you can see, the offense again has a really good chance of being explosive. And it obviously starts with us too. So when we get it rolling, then we usually got a pretty good chance to roll downhill and keep it moving.
When you mentioned that pistol, and that's something we've seen more in the last week or so, maybe than we saw in the spring or before that. What do you like about that formation, that kind of setup for the offense? What do you think it brings you guys?
I think just the multiplicity. I think you can get, we can line back up there in a number of different personnels. You can have, Jackson back there. You could have Tretch back there, Tyrell. You can have a number of guys, and really just the package that we can build off that. I think is definitely something where the offensive staff is having fun with, trying to put different guys in different spots and figure out kind of what fits us well. And I think when you look at the style of offense we want to be, I think we can do all three, all levels of our offense from that formation, right? We can run the ball, we can be physical downhill, we can get on the perimeter with whatever type of things we want to do, and then we can take vertical shots. So I think it just adds another defensive thing for the defense to prepare for. You add you throw personnel into that mix. If you look back there, you see number 2 in the backfield one day. It's different stuff that we're making our defense practice for and get better at, and then they're making us better so that when we get into the season and we get to week 1, we're we've kind of prepared in every way possible.
What's that to you most about Hunter this fall camp?
Yeah, again, same thing with a guy like Lance Mason. Just he's obviously an older player. I think we're the same age. He may be a little bit older than me. Seeing him come in and just the maturity level of him, really I feel like picked up the offense with not too many hiccups, if any. The confidence he kind of shows of I think he's got to be learning the offense by himself in the summer, because he just shows up and he knows it and he's he's on top of it, and that was really cool to see. And obviously as an older guy, we're in a little bit different situations in our career than maybe some of the other guys, so we're able to talk about kind of our career and our experiences up to this point. But really just his kind of confidence coming in, and the maturity level you can obviously see it's a lot to learn this offense. There's a lot asked of these quarterbacks, and we obviously like it that way. But for a guy coming in the summer, it can be a tough gig. But he really, ever since OTAs in the summer, he's kind of hasn't missed a beat with the rest of the group, and kept this thing rolling with whatever group he's in there with. He's kind of kept the ball moving and kept us on schedule.